Which advice will you give and tips to students who want to apply for scholarships?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I was saying earlier, just take risks. Don't be afraid to fail. Like it isn't. You never know what's gonna happen. So I think like don't be afraid to put yourself out there and kind of like share your story. So I think like one of my favorite quotes is like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't apply for this scholarship, you don't go for it. Like you'll never know what's gonna happen. So I think like even if like you're down here having that self doubt or not sure whether you should apply for something or go for it, take that big leap. I say just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. Like you know.
You're right, Josue. The more you apply, the more opportunities to win. So, which advice will you provide to students that want to apply for scholarships?
Oh, I would say, like, my advice would be that to apply as many scholarships as possible, to keep track of them, and do a lot of research of different scholarships. You can use helping websites, like for example, IO scholarships, and it's really simple. You just have to create an account in ioscholarships.com and just start looking at the different scholarships, and you look at the requirements. From the requirements, you know what you have to do and what you already have. And as you start to do more applications to scholarships, you will see that it becomes easier and easier because the requirements start to become like common.
Mhm. So the more you apply, the more chances you have to win.
Exactly. That as well.
So I was wondering, which tips will you provide to students that want to apply for scholarships in the STEM industry?
Well, I would have to say, first of all, make a plan. See what scholarships are out there that interest you, that align with what you want to do in the future. Make a big list and cast a big net. Because with scholarships, you need to apply to a lot of places, and you need to be cognizant that you will get some, but you will also not get some. So you'll definitely need to cast a big net and sit down with people who know you well, who can help you draft your personal statements, make a good resume, and possibly letters of rec. That's very, very important.
Talking about believing in yourself, which tips will you recommend to students who want to apply and win scholarships?
Yeah, I think when it comes to applying and winning scholarships, always have have a plan in mind for every single scholarship. In my experiences, the more I've planned and the more I put towards applying for a scholarship, the more I got out. So for instance, with the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, it was a pretty rigorous application process, but I knew that going in. So I made sure, okay, I had like my short essay written well in advance, proofread, and I made sure to notify my recommender ahead of time, because you definitely don't want to procrastinate on these things. So that would be my advice when it comes to scholarship. And another piece of advice is that when it comes to scholarships, don't be afraid to apply. There's so many scholarship opportunities available, not just for Latino students, but for students everywhere. And a lot of times because there's so many, there may not be like as many applicants. So just don't be afraid to apply. But whenever you apply, definitely go all in and make sure you take the time to fill out the applications appropriately.
Which tips will you recommend to students who want to apply for scholarships?
Yes, I think the biggest thing is going in with an open mind and being optimistic. Oftentimes I find a lot of my peers not even wanting to try because they feel a lot of intimidation. They think they're not going to get it. But I feel like that's the biggest obstacle we all need to overcome. It's just taking the first step.
Tell me 3 tips you will actually give to students who want to apply for scholarships.
3 tips that I would give to students that want to apply to scholarships is apply. Do it. You got it. Tip number 2 is an essay is not that bad when it comes to scholarships. You have a story to share and you deserve it. And tip 3 is start looking early. I definitely have been on the bitter end of, oh, I looked at it too late and I have a day to finish the scholarship. So definitely start early.
Actually, which recommendations or tips will you provide to students that want to apply and win scholarships?
Just be honest. Like really, I've had to write a couple this past month, and it's really just kind of understanding yourself, your journey, and what your values are. Because once you kind of like write from the heart and like what's been motivating you, it's very easy to put that to paper, and you can just write pretty honestly. And then I usually think that whoever's reading it, they understand your experience better and like kind of what you're going through. So yeah.
Which advice will you provide to a student that want to apply for scholarships and win scholarships?
The first thing is apply. Often we, as minorities, we work really hard, and I feel like a lot of our work is often isn't recognized, and a lot of it's due to personal things that like you often do not want to live up to them, to your achievements. And I would say live up to everything that you do, everything you do for yourself, but also for your community. And like going back to being confident, like apply. The worst that I can say is no. You got a lot more to gain than not to apply, and you never know that scholarship that you think that you wouldn't have won, that might have been the difference between you having taken out a loan or not. And that I know from seeing my friends and myself, having not having to worry about financial burden for your future, that scholarship provide, like it goes a long way. You may not think about it right now, but in the long term it will pay dividends, and also when you get your education.
Any other recommendation that you would like to share with students who want to pursue this career?
Yeah, I think definitely just keep going. Keep going when it's easy, when it's hard, when there's no end in sight, just keep going. This past Saturday, I just graduated, and it just feels like...
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It feels like such a relief. You know, we've been working our whole lives to accomplish goal after goal after goal, and finally seeing those goals come to fruition and realizing that, yeah, you know, even in the hardest times, I am still that person that can accomplish this. I think that's what we have to keep reminding ourselves, that we can do anything we put our mind to.
I always tell students, you know, take this as a actually part-time job, because if you invest 10 hours of your time during a weekend and you win a $10,000 scholarships, that's $1,000, you know, hourly rate, and that's pretty high.